Welcome back to the Abandoned Building Kitchen Renovation Series. This is episode 2. This one is all about cabinets. Cabinets, and more cabinets. We're just building a whole ton of cabinets. So real quick, let's talk high-level process for building out the cabinets. The process is going to be divided into two main parts. Building the cabinet carcasses and drawers, which I'm going to do here myself in this video, and manufacturing the cabinet doors and drawer fronts, which I'm going to be having done by a company called Rehow, and they're going to be using this super cool matte black Revisio Noir material to make the cabinet doors. I'm going to make a road trip up to their manufacturing facilities in Michigan in another video, which should be out around the same time as this one. They've got some crazy $1 million machines up there that they use to make my doors, so you'll definitely want to check that video out. But now we're dealing with the rest of the cabinets here. For the cabinet carcasses, I'm going to be using this pre-finished maple plywood, which at current prices I think is a little over $100 a sheet. So it's not cheap. We don't want to screw it up. Common theme, let's try not to waste plywood as much as possible. Do a little plywood moving dance and get it on the table. So behind me over here, we've actually gone ahead and assembled a few of the cabinets just to verify that everything fits. So it is time to charge forward, turn the shop into a CNC cabinet factory and cut out all the parts from the remaining sheets of plywood. I think there's about 30 still to cut out, and it'll probably take 3 or 4 days to get through those. I think that counts. We got all the parts of the cabinet carcasses cut out now, and it's time to move on to the drawers. And we've got a lot of drawers to cut out because I really prefer drawers for my kitchen storage over shelves. So about 80% of the storage in the kitchen is going to be drawers, I'd say. The process for cutting out the drawers is basically the same as it was for the cabinet carcass parts. That's a tongue twister. Basically the same, except that we're using 1/2-inch Baltic birch plywood for the drawers. Today is one of those days where things didn't go as planned. We were planning to set up a edge banding assembly line in here, just bust out all the edge banding over the weekend. The edge banding was supposed to have arrived in the mail today, but it hasn't. Turns out it won't get here until next week. So we can't put the edge banding on the front of the cabinet carcasses right now. So in order to keep the ball moving forward, we're just gonna take all these piles of cabinet drawer parts and start assembling all the cabinet drawers today. Before we go further, a quick message from this video's amazing sponsor, SimpliSafe. I've been working with SimpliSafe for over 1.5 years now, relying on them to protect this building. During the time I've been working with them, I've seen a lot of deals. 10% off here, 20% off there. But right now, during their Black Friday sale, they've got the best deals that I've ever seen on their award-winning security systems, 50% or more off. Not up to 50%, 50% or more. When I leave the building, I feel very secure knowing that everything I own is being protected by SimpliSafe's 24/7 monitoring service. It will be alerted if anything goes out of line at the building through their video cameras, motion sensors, glass break sensors. And beyond the 24/7 monitoring, their app is an amazing tool. Let's say that I leave the building and I'm half an hour away, and suddenly I think, oh crap, did I forget to close the garage door? Which might have happened once or twice. If I can just hop on the app, check the camera in the garage, and see that everything is safe and sound so I'm not worrying and having anxiety the whole time I'm away from the building. So give yourself or somebody that you care about security and peace of mind for the holidays. Head over to simplisafe.com/industrial. Get 50% or more off your SimpliSafe security system during their Black Friday sale. And now let's get back to the video. I think the garage has officially reached cabinet factory status. I got mountains of cabinet parts. With all the parts of the carcasses cut out, we got to do the edge banding. So I got rolls of matte black edge banding here. Same material that's going to match the doors that we got from Rayhow. And the edge banding strategy is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to do the front of the carcasses in the matte black. So from the exterior, when the doors are covering the rest of the cabinet, the whole face of the cabinets will appear black. You won't see any of the maple until you open the cabinet doors or drawers up. If any of you have ever edge banded, it takes a long time. When I did the edge banding for all the cabinets on my dream bed build back at my old loft, I spent about 4 days, and those are like 10-hour plus days, just edge banding with an iron. It was miserable. So in order to make things easier this time, I got this really cool edge banding machine that ROCKLER sent me, which is the same principle as an iron because you get your surface to press it against here, but you've got this roller and feeder, so it speeds up the whole process. So you can just keep moving, running the pieces through back to back to back, and get a bunch of edge banding done real quick. So one of the most important things if you're using a regular iron is hitting it with a roller afterwards to really work out any bubbles and make sure the glue really sticks to the surface. And I like to hit the edges as well, just at an angle, to make sure you don't have any peeling up at the sides, and of course roll over the ends as well. You can also use like a J roller like this. I'm using this little fast cap roller. To me, this seems like it works a little better. Now in my case, because I'm using that edge banding machine, which has the roller built into it, this step may not be necessary. Probably isn't, but I'm all for belts and suspenders. Now, if you are using a regular iron, rolling it in is 100% a necessary step. If you're thinking to yourself, it's kind of inefficient that I'm like over there running it through, then running it over here, you're probably right. I got Kat behind the camera. Kat, why don't you come out and we're going to turn this into a little Henry Ford assembly line. I'm just going to keep running pieces through the edge banding machine, hand them to you, and then your job is going to be you always go with edge banding that's a little bit thicker than the board. So to trim it, I've tried a few things, including using a flush trim bit on a router, but I actually think that this double-sided trimmer, just got some little razor blades in it, works the best. It takes a little bit of finesse, and we'll do a little education right now. So take the double-sided trimming tool, start at one end, not all the way at the end because you don't want to muck it up as you come on. You get 2 hands, equal pressure, and you just slide it on down. And then when you get to the end, you want to make sure you don't clip off the corners and leave a little bare spot. So you kind of shift the pressure to your back to your palms and just make sure you're pushing straight forward, and you'll get a nice clean into it. Then you use these flush trim bits, cut it right off and get a nice edge. So after you cut this end off, we're gonna take this and we're gonna go back the other direction to get the end that we didn't get before. Equal pressure. Now we shift the pressure back to the palms, and you get these super satisfying curly Q cutoffs from this stuff. Now we got a nice edge, and it's time for the secret sauce, the real secret to a professional looking edge band. This is called a laminate file, and I just run this, I've found 4 or 5 times, starting at about 15 degrees off up to about 30 degrees off. Really does a great job of finishing off the edge, and most importantly, that is what prevents that little bit of space under here that over time just can get caught on stuff and lead to the edge banding tearing off. So before we install the cabinets, we have to put drywall on the walls behind the cabinet. So we got the drywall guys here today, putting on the drywall, and while they're doing that, I'm gonna be downstairs with Jake putting together the cabinets. There's a ton of different ways that you can assemble cabinets. You can glue and nail them. There's all kinds of different fasteners. The method I'm using is these conformat screws. They are specialty cabinet fasteners that are particularly good when you have to attach pieces into either MDF or ingrained plywood, which is what we're dealing with. And I also picked up a conformat drill bit, which is a 3-step drill bit. It goes from a 3mm lead to a 5mm hole for the sides, and then a 7mm countersink that allows these to go in perfectly. And the great thing is this is knockdown construction. That means I can take the cabinets apart, transport them in pieces if I ever want. If one part of the cabinet gets scratched or water damage or whatever happens to it, I can always take that cabinet apart, remake just that one part, and then put the cabinet together. If I was gluing and screwing, you can't do that. You just have to remake the whole cabinet. This one is So we're nearing the end now. It's the weekend, and my parents are actually in town to visit. Unfortunately, we're gonna be working. They are awesome sports. My mom, my dad, and you guys know Kat, of course. So we got the full team here. We're gonna charge ahead. My mom's gonna be heading upstairs, getting the kitchen area ready, clean, so we can bring the cabinets up there. My dad and I have to finish assembling the last 3 cabinets. So you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Industrial on 3. 1, 2, 3. Industrial! Perfect fit.
Us ladies, we're up here doing the really important stuff.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.
Oh my goodness, look at all that.
You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.
Now that's a good mom.
And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up?
right, so right now the guys are building and we are trying to do just enough so that they can get the cabinets up here. Go ladies team.
So we finally got all the cabinets assembled and it is time to move them up in the kitchen. 22 cabinets in total, no big deal. Let's get to it. We got everything up, but I can't get the hardware in yet because like so many things, there's a supply shortage right now of hinges and drawer slides, and I'm still waiting for those to arrive. So overall, I'm pretty happy, but as soon as I actually saw the cabinets in here, I did realize a couple things that I might want to change, and let's just take a look at them and see what you guys think. So first thing to note, not something I necessarily want to change, just want to note to you guys, this cabinet right here sitting on the floor obviously is going to be going over the fridge, which will be in this gap. And then these two cabinets right here are actually upper cabinets that'll span this gap here above the little brick window. So now the first issue. This right here is the cabinet for the double wall oven. It's going to go in the space right here. And I just kind of plugged the dimensions I had for my wall oven into the software I used, and it generated this layout for the cabinet. It seemed fine when I looked at the cabinet in the software, but I noticed afterwards that the bottom drawer doesn't line up with the drawers next to it. So I'm kind of thinking I might want to take this apart and raise the shelves up. One other thing to note, so these edges inside here and over here are actually going to be exposed to a countertop. I don't want the maple to show, so I actually am going to have to take these cabinets apart anyway. I've got black panels from Rehow that I'm going to patch in here on these sides so that all the visible parts here will be black. The second thing I noticed is something I'm definitely going to have to change, and that's the location of the cooktop. So I initially had the cooktop located in the second cabinet along the 10-foot island, but then I looked up and I realized that I'm getting beamed. The beam is going to be an issue because I'm planning an overhead oven hood, and those usually come straight down from the center. So I'm probably going to have to move the cooktop from this cabinet here and kind of just swap these cabinets so I can position the hood vent directly above the cooktop. But despite those issues, I'm overall pretty happy with the progress we're making here. It's really exciting to start to see this come together. Make sure you sub for the rest of the series as we install all the cabinets, build the concrete countertops. Going to be a lot of fun. That's it for this time, and I'll see you guys next time.